Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at Vile, the fifth album by Cannibal Corpse. So this is the first album with George Corpsegrinder Fisher as the frontman and lead singer. Aside from that, there's also a couple of other interesting things about it, so let's get into it. So firstly, it is debatable in terms of whether or not George Fisher is the better singer than Chris Barnes. Some people miss Chris Barnes being in this band. Oh and that's fine, I really enjoyed Chris Barnes as well, but George takes this band to another level with his vocals. They're a lot broader, more ferocious, and his shrieks and screams are pretty awesome when they do show up. He also does this thing with his hair on stage called the Corpsegrinder Windmill. If you've got long hair, you should give it a shot. It looks fun. Now you're probably wondering, what's up with his neck? Well, his neck grew the way it did because he would often headbang while lifting weights. You should try that if you want a neck that thick. Going back to Chris Barnes for a minute, Vile was originally recorded with him on board before he left the band. He only ended up recording about 7 of the 11 songs that would make it into the final product. Those recordings did end up in a demo called Created to Kill, so you'll get an idea of what Vile would have sounded like with Chris Barnes on board, and it's actually pretty good. You can check that out before Vile if you want to. I really love the album cover. It really sets the tone for what you're heading into, and while the censored version, the best they could do is just show his face and hide everything else. The guitar work on this album is very down-tuned. The first 4 albums all had D tuning, and this album has A tuning. Jack Owen and Rob Barrett laid down some really cool riffs and solos on this album, despite the down tuning. Another thing I want to mention is the fact that Rob Barrett temporarily left the band after this album, and you're probably wondering why. It pretty much all boils down to creative differences. This album has some of the fastest, most technical death metal for its time, which I think creatively exhausted him, and he wanted to move on to other things before returning to the band later. The band do a really good job in experimenting with various tempos. The technicality is on another level compared to the Bleeding. The album has plenty of variety in it, and there's even an instrumental called Relentless Beat. It's about 2 minutes, and it's a lot of fun. The drumming and the bass go back to being almost as raw sounding as they were on some of the earlier albums. Fun fact, this is also the first death metal album in history to make the Billboard Top 200, and it peaked at number 151, I believe, which is impressive, especially for its time. Now the only complaints I have is that there are some songs I don't like. Maybe upon re-listen I'll enjoy them a little bit more. My favorite track is probably Puncture Wound Massacre, and my absolute least favorite is probably Absolute Hatred. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Vile, the 5th Cannibal Corpse album. Next time, we're going to be looking at the 6th album, Gallery of Suicide, and this will be an interesting album to talk about. I mean, just look at the cover. So thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like the video, share it and subscribe, and hit the notification icon. Be safe during this time, and I'll see you soon.